Above average. That is above the projected Eurozone average of just above 2%. Above question. It's above all a question of sovereignty. Reuters quoted a central bank official as saying, "Absolute nonsense. That is absolute nonsense. Absolutely agree. I absolutely agree with Frederick Forsyth. Absolutely clear. However, we are absolutely clear that we haven't broken any rules." Absolutely delighted. Charles Setti and his wife-to-be were absolutely delighted. Absolutely extraordinary. That seems to me an absolutely extraordinary proposition. Absolutely fantastic. The people at the Mater have been absolutely fantastic. Absolutely vital. Free expression is absolutely vital in a democratic society. Absolutely wonderful. It's just absolutely wonderful. Absorb light. It creates a cloud of electrons sitting in the silicon and that absorbs all the light, he said. Academy Award. In fact, Brando's Academy Award triumph revived his career. Accept job. How dare people suggest we are lazy or complacent for accepting these jobs and these wages? Accept offer. It doesn't matter if it's 30 million British pounds, 40 million British pounds or 50 million British pounds. We will not accept offers. Accept responsibility. It said it accepted full responsibility for what it called improper activities. Access Internet. It was estimated that almost 13 million of these were able to access the Internet in 2004. Access Network. Many companies use a token-based method already for employees to access networks securely already. Access Point. People using wireless high-speed net, Wi-Fi, are being warned about fake hotspots, or access points. Access Service. Vodafone will let you access its services on Vodafone Live. Access System. MPs criticize child access system. Accident happen. Kentoris insisted. The accident happened. Accuse minister. But Lib Dem Norman Baker accused ministers of turning Britain into a nuclear dump site. Achieve result. I want to say thank you to the supporters. They were magnificent to help us achieve this result. Achieve status. Jack Kirby, Frank Miller, John Romitton and others achieved cult status in their own right. Achieve target. He joins Johnny Wilkinson, Tim Stimpson and Paul Grayson in achieving that target. Acquire technology. The threat today is that terrorists will acquire nuclear or biological technology. Across continent. The money raised will also be used to help combat HIV and AIDS across the continent. Across country. For Countrifile they asked 2,234 adults across the country the same question. Across globe. Movie stars from across the globe are attending this year's BAFTA Film Awards ceremony. Across world. The site has listeners from across the Spanish-speaking world. Act correctly. I have acted correctly, the 27-year-old Austrian said in a statement. Act play. More than 120 acts will play on 8 stages over the weekend of 9 and July 10. Act swiftly. I can assure you that the club will act swiftly to minimize the impact of shock departure. Quotation mark. Action film. An animated version was made in 1973, but this will be the first live-action film. Action movie. Rarely now does an action movie launch without a mobile game tie-in. Action plan. Italy to get economic action plan. Actively encourage. Mr. Matsura added that some companies actively encouraged employees to blog. Actual number. The actual number of addresses with IPv4 is limited to 4 billion IP addresses. Actually be. I was nervous about whether I would actually be able to get round. Actually happen. It's not a risk. It's actually happening. Actually have. But I have actually had to exercise part of my brain tonight. Additional expense. It stated he will incur additional future medical expenses. Additional fund. On Tuesday, the U.S. administration asked Congress for additional funds for military operations. Additional money. They say much additional government money is for new initiatives. Additional point. You may require an additional wireless access point in the renovated area. Address book. And we certainly can't be bothered to write them down in an old-fashioned address book. Address change. The numerical internet address of the site has also changed. Adhere to. That meant Moscow would not have to adhere to U.S. rulings in the UCAS case. Administration B. His administration is now in crisis. Adopt child. Personal reflections on adoption. A documentary about families with adopted children. Adopt model. The company will have to persuade data center managers to adopt a new model. Adult age. A total of 3,028 adults aged 18 or over were interviewed for the study. Adult child. Ms. Hewitt said, adults should be treated as adults and children as children. Advance notice. Often PIPACs and other net suppliers do get advance notice that an attack is about to happen. Advanced economy. This is something that no advanced economy in the world has tried to do. Advanced market. We have focused first on Japan because it has a very advanced mobile phone market. Advanced type. Johnston uses an advanced type of acupuncture and it's very effective. Adventure game. The game also won BAFTAs for Best Action Adventure, Best PC Game, Art Direction and Animation. Advertising campaign. Targeted teenagers with multi-billion-dollar advertising campaigns. Advertising revenue. For the likes of the BBC, there are no issues of lost advertising revenue yet. Advocate argue. It will also see more jobs created in India and China. Advocates argue. Aerospace engineering. It will be used to model flight missions. Climate research. And aerospace engineering. Aesthetically pleasing. Only then will the personalized version both make sense and be aesthetically pleasing. He added. Affect people. This will definitely affect people psychologically. Affect relationship. She added. The way things are going, all this could affect the relationship between the clubs. Affected area. Well, Heretic writes. That was just the least affected areas. Afflict people. E.t., for example, is genetic and can afflict people throughout their lives. Afford cost. Also, small businesses will have to be able to afford this manpower cost. After find. Mr. Hernandez said. After gaining entry, they found Mr. Davis had passed away. Quotation mark. After work. He ran clear after good work by Mattia Flamini, but his finish was tame and Kenny saved easily. Against discrimination. But the Tory leader will argue against positive discrimination, saying it is outdated and unjust. Against legislation. Some 32 Labour MPs voted against the legislation last week. Against poverty. And the Chancellor vowed to continue the fight against child poverty. Against terrorism. Ministers say it would help the fight against terrorism, illegal immigration and organized crime. Age discrimination. Under new European age discrimination rules, a default retirement age of 65 will be introduced. Age group. It's a song that will be played forever and bridges all age groups. Age range. Presumably, the age range that could be bothered to vote is pretty low. Aggressive move. This, too, is being taken in some quarters as a sign of aggressive moves on interest rates to come. Aggressively promote. Banks are very aggressively promoting debt. In many cases there is a bigger problem ahead. Agree deal. J&J agrees $25 billion Gidant deal. Agreement negotiate. Robbie has an agreement with Larn that he can negotiate with interested clubs. Aid agency. The Scottish executive has seconded 11 staff to the aid agencies. Aid group. Response supplies maps to aid groups via the web, and on compact disc aid package. The EU also confirmed a new $21 million aid package. Air channel. Initially, more than a third of the population will be able to receive 14 free-to-air channels. Air Force. The contract. to provide refueling tankers for the U.S. Air Force, was cancelled last year. Air passengers win new EU rights. Air service. Free-to-air services will be broadcast in MPEG-2 format. Air travel. India's government has given its backing to cheaper and more accessible air travel. Airline staff. More than 90% of the airline's staff are based in Australia. Airline travel. US to probe airline travel chaos. Alarm bell. But alarm bells start ringing when the Kent athlete begins questioning herself. All about. But that was all about to change. All alone. I just felt like I was running all alone. All Black. The former All Black broke clear and popped the ball up for Tate on halfway. Alleged victim. Jurors saw the film, in which the pop star held hands with the alleged victim, on Tuesday. Alleviate shortage. Turkey could also help alleviate a labor shortage in old Europe once its population comes of age. Allow entry. And no fans wearing Cantona masks will be allowed entry to the stadium. Allow use. What infrastructure will be required to allow these vehicles to be used? Almost certain. We are almost certain that the charges will be dropped, said Ioannidis. Almost certainly, but, as ever, it will be the economy that will almost certainly decide the outcome. Almost double. Britain was close behind, with broadband users almost doubling in a year. Almost impossible. The Robossapiens toy is almost impossible to find in online and offline stores. Almost never. Women aged 50 or above almost never use a mobile phone, the research found. Already there is interest in podcasting from the corporate world. Already begin. The US has already begun incorporating download sales in the Billboard's Hot 100 chart. Already create. One user has already created a dock to enable him to plug in and out his Mac Mini in his car. Already do. Labor said many tests were already done. Already exist. Basic versions of these so-called avatars already exist. Already go. A lot of Arab money, he says, has already gone to Malaysia and Indonesia. Already have already had one big screen outing 1977's Wombling Free. Already include. However, the word is already included in some printed versions of the Oxford English Dictionary. Already leave. Lane has already left the production. Already make. We continue to make progress and great strides have already been made, said Mr. Spindler. Already own. Universal said on Wednesday it had bought the 50% of Rockefeller it did not already own. Already put. The Spanish have already put their forces on standby to evacuate their nationals if necessary. Already receive. It is his 15th Brit Award, having already received 10 solo awards and 4 with Take That. Already show. Mr. Townsend said sports performance companies were already showing an interest in the technology. Already spend. Mr. Blair has already spent a day with 5 and Michael Howard is booked for a similar session. Already start. Such materials are already starting to change how gadgets and electronics are used and designed. Already take. The programs are designed to support the citizenship lessons already taking place in schools. Already use. Despite the current restrictions, the technology is already being used. Also accuse. He is also accused of not having insurance. Also acknowledge. The list also acknowledges key influences and trends in the world of film and broadcasting. Also admit. But he also admits he faces more than one rival for the world crown. Also charge. Their former coach Christos Tsekis has also been charged with distributing banned substances. Also contribute. Declines in the dollar have also contributed to the rising oil price. Also good. We were very good defensively and also good on the counter-attack. Also miss. William Gallas and Damien Duff could also miss the Barcelona game. Alternative way. Exchange-traded funds offer an alternative way to track a stock market. Always calm. Why must best always come down to most commercially popular? Always complain. Wenger is always complaining the match was not played in the right spirit. He added, always dream. I have always dreamt of starting a record label, but now Mark Morrison has spoiled that dream for me. Always fetch. She always fetches the best out of everyone. Always give. They always give us a tough game here and they showed a lot of spirit. Always have. But then Phillips always has. Always maintain. Labour has always maintained Mr. Brown would have a central campaign role. Always regard. Sherry Booth has always regarded herself as having an independent career. Always say. He's always said he wants me to sign. Always want. I always want to win. Amazing job. I think the production team have done an amazing job. He added. Amazing success. Joss Stone has had amazing success in the US given that she's a UK artist. Ambitious project. This is one of the most ambitious projects I have been involved with, said Daldry. American Constitution. It argues that the journalists are protected by the American Constitution. American film. This isn't to say there aren't any good American films, he continued. American life. According to U.S. research firm Pew Internet and American Life, a blog is created every 5.8 seconds. American people. He is there because the American people have chosen him, he argued. American society. Slavery was tragically ingrained in American society, but that is no excuse. American team. They own the successful Tampa Bay Buccaneers American football team based in Florida. Analysis tool. BBC Sport unveils its new analysis tool Piero at the Wales v England Rugby Union match on Saturday. Anger management. Have 1 year's anger management counseling. Animal industry. We will publicize the darker aspects of the target animal industry. The UK. Ankle injury. The Russian added that he was not worried by his ankle injury. Ankle sprain. Wenger added, it doesn't look like anything is fractured, but it is a good ankle sprain. Anniversary year. It is also the 25th anniversary this year, which adds to the occasion. Annual award. The annual awards recognize the best in digital media. Annual dinner. And she scooped 2 awards at the British Athletics Writers Association annual dinner in October. Annual event. It will be the first time since 1917 that the party has chosen Manchester to host the annual event. Annual growth. It is expecting annual sales growth of between 1% and 3% for the month. Annual inflation. As a result, annual house price inflation dipped below 20% during the final few months of 2004. Annual loss. In August it had warned of annual losses of £6 million for the year to July 31. Annual profit. Dutch firm Heineken saw its annual profits drop 33% and warned that earnings in 2005 may also slide. Annual rate. In the fourth quarter, the city-state's gross domestic product, GDP, rose at an annual rate of 2.4%. Annual revenue. The country's banking market is 3 times the size of Hong Kong's with annual revenues of $44 billion. Annual sale. Federated has annual sales of $15.6 billion, while May's yearly sales are $14.40. Annual survey. The annual survey was voted for by nearly 4,000 listeners. Annual total. Traditionally, ticket sales during the festive season account for 20% of the annual total. Answer call. Radcliffe yet to answer GB call. Answer question. He refused to answer further questions on the issue. Appeal court. Sitting on Wednesday, 3 appeal court judges dismissed both appeals. Appeal decision. But the government can appeal the decision. Applaud effort. I warmly applaud the efforts of both India and Pakistan to make this happen. Quotation mark. Application file. In recent months, 14 patent applications had been filed by the labs. Appoint director. AstraZeneca has now appointed a new executive director to the board. Appoint member. There would be 385 MSCPs, including 270 elected members, 87 appointed members and 16 bishops. Appropriate place. This was not the appropriate place to announce election day, he stammered. Approve application. The U.S. said it could not approve Iran's application because it is currently reviewing relations. Area economy. In 2000, Borders Council said the area's economy had suffered since the closure. Area network. Forget local area networks, these will be body area networks. Arm injury. Vickery upbeat about arm injury. Armed force. It is no longer to our armed forces, as the Soviet threat in the Eastern Bloc was. Army chief. Army chiefs in regiments decision. Around country. Pickets were in place across Wales, with protests around the country. Around world. The film has been a hit around the world. Arrange meeting. Mr. Gates is said to be trying to arrange a meeting with Brazil's President Lula da Silva. Art director. The trophy was designed by MGM art director Cedric Gibbons. Art festival. Patti Smith to host arts festival. Art form. Artists need a free voice to express themselves. They reflect a truth through their own art forms. Art gallery. This is not just about putting art galleries and museums online, he said. Art history. The tale mixes art history with mythology, semiotics with medieval history. Art school. Franz Ferdinand's art school lesson. Art world. Images from camera phones have even made it into the art world. Article suggest. The article in the magazine suggested grieving Liverpudlians were wallowing in their victim status, as usual. Apart from all that, it was electioneering as usual. Ask help. The IPPR also asks if ID cards could help create safer online communities. Ask question. Yeah, a few minutes after I asked him a question. Ask support. In July 1999, they asked 801 adults if they supported the ban for the mail on Sunday. Ask time. Franz Ferdinand had a question they asked themselves every time they wrote a song. Caprano said. Asset management. Foster's has done a backflip, said Sean Burns, a fund manager at Deutsche Asset Management. Assistant manager. He was promoted to joint assistant manager following the departure of Arthur Cox last summer. Associate with. The U.S. government agreed to fund all expenses associated with this decision. Association president. But the vote prompted Constituency Association President Sir Stanley Odell to resign in protest. Asylum seeker. When it comes to costs, then perhaps we should start with how decisions are made on asylum seekers. Attend ceremony. President Kumaratunga attended a ceremony in the southern town of Hambantota. Attend concert. Fans who bought tickets for the original February 22 show can attend the rescheduled concert. Attend event. Co-star Richard Gere attended the event held in aid of the tsunami appeal. Attend festival. Michael will attend the festival to introduce the screening on February 16. Attend meeting. He did once attend a BNP meeting. Attend school. Charles, who died last year, attended the school as a child in 1937. Attend summit. He is the only non-NATO member leader invited to attend the summit. Attitude change. Still, recent rulings and announcements will have boosted optimism that attitudes are changing. Attract attention. The potential of the Indian market has attracted attention at home and abroad. Attract audience. The show is currently attracting an average audience of about 4.2 million viewers a night. Attract criticism. We also attracted criticism because of the number of days players spent with the national team. Attract interest. The issue has attracted European interest. Auction site. Online auction site. eBay stopped supporting it in January 2005. Audience reaction. The audience's reaction to all of this was a little muted by party conference standards. Audio file. It is podcasting DIY radio in the form of downloadable MP3 audio files. Audio signal. The data is transmitted alongside audio signals. Audit Office. National Audit Office Chief Sir John Bourne said a new compensation scheme was now being looked at. Authors say. But the work's author, U.S. playwright Eve Ensler, says it is all about women's empowerment. Authority approve. The central government of China is the authority that approved our strategic investment. Automatically become. These children automatically become the responsibility of social services. Automatically generate. Users get a physical token which automatically generates a code which stays active for 60 seconds. Available alternative. Linux is a freely available alternative to Microsoft's Windows. Average consumer. For the average consumer, we can get things of a more filmic quality. Average growth. UNICE is forecasting average economic growth of 2.2% across the European Union in 2005. Average man. We knew what would upset the average man in the street. Average price. The average price of a house in the UK now stands at £162,086 British pounds. Halifax said. Average salary. IBGE also said that average monthly salaries grew 1.9% in December 2004 from December 2003. Average size. The average size of an English constituency was 70,000 people, Mr. Howard said. Average wage. However, average monthly wages fell 1.8% in December to $895.4 $332, 179.3 British pounds. From November. Average woman. The average woman working full-time is being paid about 80p for every pound a man is earning. Aviation market. Analysts said India could spend up to $35 billion. 18 British pounds and 80 pence in the aviation market over the next 20 years. Avoid danger. But he plays it poorly and Nadal avoids the danger. Avoid trouble. The campaign is intended to help Londoners, especially women, avoid trouble on the way home. Await trial. He is awaiting a second trial after an original conviction was thrown out. Award ceremony. The award ceremony will be held on February 26. Award nomination. The College Dropout spawned 2 further UK hits and a string of award nominations. Award ceremony. The Academy Award ceremony will be held in Hollywood on February 27. Awards show. The Orange British Academy Film Awards will be shown on BBC One at 2010 GMT. Awkward time. They have organized a game at a rather awkward time, he added. Backdoor. MPs are preparing to debate a bill which critics claim would legalize euthanasia by the back door. Back end. Straw backs ending China embargo. Back foot. Blair is on the back foot. Back row. The back row played some fantastic rugby, he added. Background music. Both background music and sound effects work well. Bad behavior. The bad behavior of email users is helping to sustain the spam industry, a new study has found. Bad cold. On Friday, McIlroy delivered an impressive run despite suffering from his bad cold. Bad deal. If you can't sell a deal in that time, it is a bad deal. Bad experience. Radcliffe concedes she will probably learn a lot from her bad experiences in Athens in time. Bad image. A couple of years ago, DTT had a bad image, said Olivier Girolami, chief operating officer of TNT. Bad job. And I think the Belgian government did a really bad job about this. Bad luck. The ship had another slice of bad luck to add to its history of health scares and technical trouble. Bad night. This was a bad night. Bad people. I'm going to have to carry on playing with some bad people, he added. Bad performance. I feel we really turned in a bad performance. Bad record. We tend to forget the worst disciplinary record of all time was Arsenal's up until last season. Bad start. I had a bad start. Bad taste. I thought it might be in rather bad taste. Bad thing. That would be fighting one bad thing with another bad thing, he said. Bad time. It came at the worst possible time, said Hans Godi, a Singapore-based fund manager. Bad weather. Bad weather hits Nestle sales. Bad year. In Britain that would be a bad year. In Germany it is one of the best in recent years. Badly handle. The privatization of companies such as UCAS in the 1990s had been badly handled, he said. Badly injure. I could have been badly injured or shot or anything, Osborne said. Badly need. Cuba badly needs dollars to pay for essential items such as food, fuel and medicine. Balance budget. There will be no need for constitutional amendments to balance the budget. Ball game. He told the newspaper. If an admission is made, it is a totally different ball game. Ballet company. She also traveled the world directing ballet companies and putting on shows. Ballot paper. Hundreds of ballot papers for the regional assembly referendum in the Northeast have disappeared. Band member. As sound technicians rushed to fix it, other band members did their best to improvise. Band play. The Manchester Band will play on July 9 at Scotland's biggest festival. Bank manager. Earlier this month, a China construction bank branch manager was jailed for life in a separate case. Bank official. It's above all a question of sovereignty, Reuters quoted a central bank official as saying. Bank report. The digital divide is rapidly closing, the World Bank report said. Bank settlement. U.S. bank in $515 million SEC settlement. Banking market. The country's banking market is 3 times the size of Hong Kong's with annual revenues of $44 billion. Banking system. A new law to govern its turbulent banking system is on the cards. Bankruptcy filing. It also has submitted a reorganization plan as part of its Chapter 11 bankruptcy filing. Bankruptcy law. UCAS lawyers now say the auction violated U.S. bankruptcy law. Bankruptcy protection. A judge has dismissed an attempt by Russian oil giant UCAS to gain bankruptcy protection in the U.S. Banner ad. The service will be supported by banner ads. Barely touch. Our heads barely touched and it wasn't an intentional headbutt. Bass band. The Belfast-born, Glasgow-based band collected the prizes at the ceremony at Dublin's Point Theatre. Base method. Many companies use a token-based method already for employees to access networks securely already. Base model. It said it was basing its business model on European firms such as Ireland's Ryanair. Base rate. This means that despite a strong economic growth, base rates will probably stay on hold at 4.75%. Base station. The E-slates connect via a wireless connection to a base station in the school. Basic information. Passport provides a single login for more than one website and stores basic personal information. Basic infrastructure. Much of Cuba's basic infrastructure is in a state of disrepair. Basic instinct. People must resist their basic instincts to buy from spam mails. Basic model. Some of the upgrades offered by JAL to the basic model are pricey. Basic policy. Our basic policy, of course, is to let open, competitive markets set the values, he explained. Basic principle. We all know the basic principle in doping cases. Basic rights. He also forgets basic human rights were suspended then as now. Basic tool. It provides basic home tools such as a media player and word processor. Basic version. Basic versions of these so-called avatars already exist. Battery life. For most of the 90s, battery life was stuck on 2 to 2.5 hours. Battle against. The books tell of a battle against the church and a fight to overthrow God. Battle for. Euronext joins bid battle for LSE. Battle plan. Labour battle plan hides Blair. Be able. One day you will be able to tell your children and grandchildren as I will tell mine. I was there. Be acceptable. It would not have been acceptable in the Zurich Premiership. Be accurate. They were more accurate than this glossy Hollywood version of the tale. Be active. This can be adjusted at any time and can be active for as little as 30 seconds before it changes. Be afraid. But I would not be afraid of that. Be ahead. There shall be many new challenges and opportunities ahead. Be alternative. Linux is a freely available alternative to Microsoft's Windows. Be always. It's always there. Be ambitious. He is very ambitious. Quotation mark. Be apart. At Davos, global problem solving and networking are never far apart. Be astounded. I am astounded that such a second-rate record has beaten such a lineup of amazing songs. Be available. The company was not available for comment. Be aware. Not that I am aware of, Mr. Myers replied. Be benefit. Turnover for the quarter was up 4.3% to £1.97, further benefiting from a rise in cargo revenue. Be busy. We're very busy. It's really strong and people will be shopping right up until Christmas. Be coincidence. And it was coincidence. Be comfortable. I'm not really comfortable with the word urban. Be competent. She said employers would be free to continue employing people for as long as they were competent. Be competitive. I am still competitive and still want to win, she said. Be complex. Active Kurds method is more complex. Be complicated. It really is no more complicated than that. Be concern. But none of this is Mr. Toshitsun's concern anymore. Be conflict. There is a conflict of interests. Be consistent. Philip still needs to be much more consistent. Be control. The device is so tiny it can be controlled with one thumb. Be crucial. And he has enough respect for us to know that it is his decision that will be crucial. Be customer. There are also an estimated 1.7 million cable broadband customers in the UK. Be damage. Second, stock markets do not trade the sort of companies likely to have been damaged. Be danger. There is a mortal danger aimed at the heart of Britain. Be delighted. We are delighted. Be difference. That is the essential difference. Be different. This time it really is different. Be disappointed. Obviously, we are all disappointed we lost the French game and the circumstances in which we did. Quotation mark. Be disappointing. The Roux didn't give me any help off the field. It was very disappointing. Davis said at the time. Be effective. Johnston uses an advanced type of acupuncture and it's very effective. Be efficient. Compression technology was not efficient enough. The net was not good enough. Be eligible. All children born after September 1, 2002 will be eligible. Be essential. When you are gunning for glory and ultimate success, keeping the gunpowder dry is essential. Be excited. I'm really excited. Be exciting. Women's tennis is exciting. Be extraordinary. He added. It was extraordinary to have 24 British nominees in the initial list of nominees. Be fortunate. Mr. Valentine, who was born in the United States but grew up in Argentina, was fortunate. Be free. Mr. Martin was freed from prison in July 2003. Be friend. We are friends. Be fundamental. It's fundamental that we don't allow them to take control of the game. Be glad. I'm glad he's Welsh. Be home. The bravery are proof alone that New York City is still home to hot new talent, he said. Be hot. The atmosphere at the last game was very hot, a good verbal contest. Be hungry. I am still as hungry to do as much as I can in this sport, said Bikel. Be important. It's important that we had sufficient funds for our team in place before we began on the stadium. Be impossible. It is impossible to come here and demand give me more money every week. Be incorrect. Fannie Mae last month warned that some records were incorrect. Be inevitable. To some extent. Increases in these areas are inevitable. B. Influence. But it is the economy that will probably be the greatest influence over the way people finally vote. B. Initiative. Wallabies captain George Gregan said the charity match was a great initiative. B. Innocent. We'll be presenting all our arguments to Segus we're innocent. B. Intelligent. Jeremiah is not actually intelligent. B. Interested. I am not interested. B. Interesting. That's interesting. B. Jealous. Anybody who says he doesn't deserve it is jealous of his success. Be kind. As a friend, he was very kind and generous. Be late. The government says the Tories are a bit late to the issue. Be legal. Lord Goldsmith said the answer represented his genuinely held independent view the war was legal. Be likely. Analysts believe a compromise is likely. Quotation mark. Be lonely. There's only one number one spot and it's lonely up there, but it's got the best view. Be long. If printed out in standard 300 dots per inch resolution, the picture would be 2.5 meters high and 6 meters long. Be lucky. I am lucky to be here and lucky to be still working. Be luxury. He didn't let me use the silk futon, saying it's a luxury. Be mad. I'm mad. I felt I was in there with a shot. Be market. There's a growing market here, he said. Be mature. The BBC News website takes a look at how games on mobile phones are maturing. Be member. The combatants from one-time prosperous mill towns are both founder members of the Football League. Be mistake. It was my mistake. Be natural. The cause of death appears to be natural. Be necessary. It's necessary to be aware of these things as issues because they remain as such, he said. Be nervous. I was so nervous last night I couldn't sleep. Be nice. He added. It's nice to be linked with top clubs, but the important thing is this one and what we do. Be obvious. There's not a sense that it's obvious how it's going to go. Be odd. What the boy in the Bernabeu did was odd. Be often. Such absences are often due to family holidays. Be order. Mr. Hawkins added. The growth area is that you can order your prints online. Be painful. It is still painful and irritable. Be parallel. There are extremely worrying parallels between Britain now and Germany during the 30s. Be patient. I just have to be patient and build up for the next Olympics. Be place. It's still a place for discovery. Be pleasant. It's pleasant to see the cut in company taxes. It's a good incentive for business, he said. Be pleased. So I am very pleased with the win. Be polite. He was very polite. Be popular. Despite that they were hugely popular in the mid-80s, he said. Be positive. She looked good and was very positive. Be possible. It's just not possible. Be potential. There is still potential for surprises. Be pragmatic. The European Commission is being pragmatic in its approach. Be problem. Erdogan said, there is a problem. Be professional. We have got to be professional and keep focused on facing Italy. Be rare. Let us be clear, such obsession is rare. Be ready. I'm ready for a good rest now. Be relevant. It's not really relevant. Be reliable. The gameplay is reliable. Bog standard stuff. Short on originality. Be revolutionary. But will the device prove to be as revolutionary as claimed? Be reward. We hope we will be rewarded as a huge crowd behaving in the best rugby tradition. Be sad. And some of them are even sadder. Today our son was 5 days old. Be safe. Hardware security is less common, even if it is a lot safer. Be scared. But people are almost too scared to express them. Be separate. They were separated and bundled off stage before returning to end the set. Be short. In Italy the break was very short. Be similar. The rationale is similar to the one underpinning SBC's AT&T deal. Be simple. It's as simple as that. Be small. Standard Trust is smaller but more profitable. Quotation mark. Be smart. It's much smarter if you can get levels as you go. Be special. She is special to me. Be spectacle. The game promises to be a great spectacle, he said. Be straightforward. He accused Mr. Blair's government of being less than straightforward over its plans. Be stranger. And Bikel is no stranger to overhauling world marks at the National Indoor Arena. Be successful. I think we will be successful. Be suitable. It's particularly suitable as the rain rate is a little low. Be superior, he added. Graphically it was superior to everything else out there. Be sure, he said. Back then you'd hear, if you go to San Francisco, be sure to wear a flower in your hair. Be surprise. It was not a major surprise. Be suspend. I didn't expect them to pay me while I was suspended, but I never thought they would sack me either. Be temporary. But analysts said the respite was likely to be only temporary. Be time. There was still time for James to produce a sensational save to tip Lampard's volley round the post. Be tired. Of course I was a bit tired in the second set. Be tolerant. Such a secular state would be markedly less tolerant, RT Rev Scott Joint argued. Be top. We are top of the league by 9 points and in the Carling Cup final. Be trouble. Was never troubled by any of the opposition, winning leisurely in 30.26. Be unable. However, Labour has so far been unable to comment on the implications of the West Ham result. Be unaware. Mr. Ebers has denied all the charges, saying he was unaware of the fraud. Be unclear. Bakel's background and its motives for buying the unit are still unclear. Be underestimate. We think it's underestimating young people's intellect and level of sophistication. Be unfair. And Mewtwo agreed, adding, it is unfair. Be unfortunate. There were 1 or 2 players who were unfortunate just to miss out. Be unhappy. Ferguson was unhappy with Van Nistelrooy for not revealing he was carrying an injury. Be unique. But Yarrick Kujda says they try to be unique. Be unlikely. The debate is unlikely to result in a vote. Be unlucky. Gordon D'Arcy was unlucky to go off injured early on. Be unreasonable. We believe that we have presented a case that the charges are unreasonable. Be vital. It's vital we avoid huge teams. Be vulnerable. PCs running Windows 95, 98, ME, NT, 2000, and XP could be vulnerable to the worm. Be warm. We hope they are warm towards it and don't say this is the wrong time. Be well. It's way better out here. Be worried. Some panel members are worried that Microsoft would issue a series of patent lawsuits in the future. Be worthless. The Conservatives and Lib Dems both say his pledges are worthless. Be wrong. They were wrong. Bear fruit. These tough measures have borne fruit. Beauty contest. It's all a bit like a beauty contest. All the films are great and so different. Become accustomed. Gone were the screaming girls to which Simpson had become accustomed. Become apparent. Very quickly it became apparent that she was something special. Become chairman. Mr. Morchio made a bid last year to become chairman after the death of President Umberto Agnelli. Become chancellor. He became shadow chancellor under John Smith's leadership in 1992. Become common. It could become common to charge people for the amount of bandwidth they use. Become important. Desktop search has become important for several reasons. Become impossible. The programs are so sophisticated they change frequently and become impossible to eradicate. Become king. The BBC is yet to confirm the final 2 stars who will battle it out to become Ice King or Queen. Become minister. Tony Blair has become the Labour Party's longest-serving Prime Minister. Become necessary. He added the situation would be monitored carefully in case evacuation became necessary. Become officer. He became Chief Operating Officer and President in 2002. Become phenomenon. Brown's book has become a publishing phenomenon, consistently topping book charts in the UK and US. Become popular. Urban is just a word that's come about recently to describe black music that's become popular now. Become queen. Some 47% believe she should have no title, while 7% think she should become queen. Become reality. A week after my first birthday, the threat had become reality. Become secretary. He then became secretary of the Commission on Social Justice. Before breakfast, it found that more than half of those with broadband logged on to the web before breakfast. Begin play. 7 years ago, I began playing Ultima Online. Begin talk. The EU will decide on December 17 whether to begin entry talks with Turkey. Behavior change. The behavior of online shoppers was also changing, he said. Below level. This is far below the power consumption levels of screens in current notebooks. Benchmark index. Beirut's benchmark Blom stock index closed down 7.9% at 642.80. Benchmark rate. The European Central Bank, ECB, left its benchmark interest rate unchanged at 2% on Thursday. Benefit cut. It added that government reforms, including unpopular benefit cuts, do not go far enough. Benefit package. The group is trying to see off criticism over its pay deals. Benefits package and promotion strategy. Benefit people. The minimum wage will rise in October, benefiting more than 1 million people, the government has announced. Beyond belief. In Asia it is beyond belief. Beyond doubt. But Wales put the outcome beyond doubt with 2 superb tries in 4 minutes before the hour. Bidding process. Details of the bidding and tender process will be published on the ministry's website on February 9. Bidding war. Quest may spark MCI bidding war. Big achievement. Hicham El Ghorouji's Olympic double is a much bigger achievement than Kelly's on a global scale. Big advantage. A big advantage of the TPM is that it is hardware-based. Big area. Personalization is going to be a big area for the future, said Yahoo's Janka Brunini. Big argument. This is a big messy argument, explained Mr. Hopkins. Big attraction. By 1979 he was the biggest touring attraction in the world. Big audience. And the show reached its biggest audience in 1997 when Titanic took home 11 Oscars. Big band. They have to want to be the biggest band ever and not stop wanting it. Big bang. You have got to have a big bang. Big bang. It had been expected one of the smallest of the 4 big public bangs. Big battle. The Big Bloggies battle will be for the ultimate prize of Blog of the Year. Big blow. The goal was a bad mistake and a big blow to our confidence. Big boost. The government's big boost to public spending is now showing results, said Mr. Barber. Big breakfast. The ex-Big Breakfast presenters were recruited to host the BBC One family variety show last July. Big Brother. Greer had earlier failed to persuade other contestants to stage a naked protest against Big Brother. Big buck. The sad fact is nostalgia sells big bucks in the short term. Big budget. Big budget co-productions, such as the Harry Potter series, continued to be shot in the UK. However, big business. Satellite radio is big business in the US. Big change. This is a big change in our political culture. Big city. Brazil's biggest city is a sprawling, ugly, restless metropolis. Big collection. How do you say basketball and what is the biggest collection of naval fluff? Big company. This is a very big company held by many Lebanese. Big competition. There is big competition in some departments and not so much in others.